This is breaking news. The United States and Israel are now on high alert as military intelligence points to an imminent threat of missile attacks. Could this be the spark that ignites a full-scale global conflict? Is World War III already knocking at our door? Buckle up. In this video, we're diving deep into the rising tensions, military responses, secret briefings, and what this means for the world in 2025. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay with us to the end. This story is unfolding faster than anyone anticipated. In the past 48 hours, intelligence agencies across the globe have been on edge. Satellite surveillance picked up unusual military movement in the Middle East. Israeli air defense systems were quietly placed on full operational readiness, and U.S. Navy fleets were repositioned in what analysts are calling a preemptive defensive maneuver. Sources suggest that both American and Israeli intelligence picked up credible threats indicating potential missile strikes aimed at strategic military and civilian locations. These aren't just ordinary threats. They come after weeks of increasing hostility, cryptic warnings from enemy states, and underground chatter between rogue militias and foreign powers. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the complex and fragile web of tensions in the Middle East, particularly the escalating confrontation between Iran and Israel, with the US standing firmly behind its longtime ally. In recent months, Israel has ramped up its airstrikes on suspected weapons depots in Syria, many believed to be operated by Iranian-backed militias. Iran, in turn, has issued veiled threats, warning of consequences for what it calls Zionist aggression. Behind the scenes, U.S. intelligence officials have confirmed that Iran may be positioning long-range missile systems in key strategic locations, capable of hitting Israeli cities or even American military bases. What makes this situation so dangerous is that these aren't just war games or diplomatic posturing. This is military movement with real consequences. And with Israel promising to retaliate to any attack with overwhelming force, the stakes have never been higher. As this threat became more concrete, top U.S. defense officials were summoned for emergency briefings in the Pentagon. President Biden reportedly met with national security advisors in a closed-door Situation Room meeting. Shortly after, the White House issued a rare midnight statement. The United States remains committed to the defense of its allies. Any attack on U.S. or allied interests will be met with a swift and decisive response. Simultaneously, American aircraft carriers have been repositioned in the eastern Mediterranean, while rapid deployment units have been placed on alert in key bases across Europe and the Middle East. While the government tries to downplay the situation to avoid public panic, military insiders say preparations are already underway for a worst-case scenario, a multi-front conflict. Israel is no stranger to missile threats, having relied on its famous Iron Dome defense system to intercept countless rockets over the years. But this time, the stakes are different. Military officials in Tel Aviv have announced that the Arrow 3 anti-ballistic missile system, designed to intercept long-range and even nuclear-capable missiles, is now fully operational and deployed in undisclosed locations. Defense drills across Israel have been intensified. Schools and hospitals are testing emergency protocols. Civilians are being advised to review shelter plans and keep essential supplies on hand. In short, the nation is preparing for the possibility of a massive missile strike. Meanwhile, cyber units are also on high alert, anticipating digital warfare that could cripple communication and critical infrastructure. This crisis isn't unfolding in a vacuum. The world is watching and reacting. NATO commanders have expressed deep concern over the rapid militarization in the region. Emergency calls between European leaders have taken place throughout the night. Germany and France have both called for urgent de-escalation talks, but so far, their pleas have fallen on deaf ears. China, in an unusual move, issued a public warning against Western provocation and urged restraint. Russia, meanwhile, has remained cryptic, releasing a brief statement that they are monitoring the situation. Behind closed doors, however, there are growing concerns that this confrontation could spiral into a larger conflict, one that draws in global powers and divides the world along new fault lines. Let's not mince words. If Iran follows through with a missile attack, and if the US and Israel respond militarily, the region could explode into all-out war. Analysts warn that other proxy groups, like Hezbollah in Lebanon and militias in Iraq, could join the fray, opening multiple fronts. Israel has already hinted that it would not hesitate to strike back anywhere in the region if attacked. And if that happens, we could see neighboring countries pulled in. Turkey, Jordan, and even Saudi Arabia could be forced to take sides. This isn't just about one attack. It's about the potential collapse of regional stability. And when multiple nuclear-capable nations start engaging in military posturing and missile exchanges, the risk of escalation into World War III becomes terrifyingly real. While governments prepare their war machines, it's ordinary people who stand to suffer the most. Across Israel, families are stocking up on food, water, and medical supplies. In Gaza, the fear of renewed bombing campaigns is spreading. In Iran, civilians are bracing for the possibility of retaliatory strikes. Aid organizations are already preparing for a surge in refugees. Hospitals are coordinating with international health agencies to receive emergency supplies. The Red Cross and UN are calling for immediate humanitarian corridors to be established before the first missile even hits. This is the other side of war, not just missiles and politics, but hunger, displacement, and death. And the world's response in the next few days could determine how deep the suffering goes. Back in the United States, the news has triggered political shockwaves. Lawmakers across both parties are demanding briefings, with some calling for stronger military intervention and others urging diplomatic restraint. Protests have already begun outside the White House, as war-weary Americans question whether the U.S. is about to enter another prolonged conflict. At the same time, oil prices are spiking, the stock market is shaking, and anxiety is rising across the country. Gasoline costs have jumped in several states, and military families are on edge as deployment orders start coming in. Economists warn that if the conflict spreads, we could see inflation surge again, along with disruptions to global trade and energy supplies. It's not just a military issue, it's a global economic crisis waiting to erupt. Despite the saber-rattling and troop mobilizations, diplomatic back-channels remain active. Reports suggest that Qatar and Switzerland are working to broker a last-minute dialogue between Iran and Western leaders. The United Nations has scheduled an emergency session, though previous resolutions have done little to cool tensions. Pope Francis, along with leaders from major religious institutions, has issued a call for peace, urging all sides to step back from the brink. If even one missile is launched, whether by state or non-state actors, it could ignite a chain reaction that diplomacy can no longer stop. In truth, the world is standing on a knife's edge. Military systems are armed. Alliances are being tested. And decisions made in the next 48 to 72 hours could shape the course of global history for years to come. This situation is developing by the hour. We'll keep you updated with real-time insights, expert analysis, and coverage you won't get anywhere else. What do you think will happen next? Will the US and Israel strike first? Will diplomacy prevail? Or are we witnessing the start of a larger war? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. We want to hear from you. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any breaking updates. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and stay strong.